My name is James Clark, and I'm an injured worker out of the state of Idaho. I'm trying to bring awareness to the corruption that goes on in the Idaho Industrial Commission and related to work-related injuries through the Industrial Commission. How they take advantage of injured workers because they are supposedly the ultimate fact finders in relation to injuries that happen on a job. I will show you how the Idaho State Insurance Fund committed fraud and the abuse of the authority of the Industrial Commission to help cover up the fact that they had committed fraud in relation to CFR 45 Part 164 of the Privacy Act. And even in the records here, I will show how Lynn, who is a politician for the state of Idaho, who took over my case in 2010, clearly used his seat to take advantage of injured workers. Here I have in front of me, right here, I have a document that was filed August 1st, 2008, requesting for my private health records from the Idaho Department of Correction on August 1st of 2008. I also have here a document where they sent for my records from Holy Rosary Hospital on April 11th of 2008. And they were very specific on what records they wanted. All records prior to 4/17 of 08, which is April 17th of 2008. And thank you for your assistance in this matter. We appreciate your prompt response. That was for my records from Holy Rosary Hospital out of Ontario, Oregon. Also, they received my private health records from Safe Corporation on August 7th of 2008. To whom it may concern. All right? This was from Miss Julones. A CC copy sent to Alan K. Hall. Also, because of the fraudulent way that they had received them from Safe Corporation, as it states down here on 8/11 of 08. Now, I caught the State Insurance Fund committing the fraud on October 10th of 2008 when they sent me to see a Dr. Holt in relation to my April 17th of 2008 catastrophic work-related injury that almost cost me my life, which OSHA also found my company in 21 code violations. After contacting Safe Corporation in November approximately of 2008, after going to see Dr. Holt, because between August 15th of 2008 and October of 2008, they were filing with the Industrial Commission to have me sign these medical release forms so they can receive copies of my records. And the records that they were wanting me to file so they can receive are the records from the Idaho Department of Correction, also from Holy Rosary Hospital, and also records from Safe Corporation. But now, I hadn't resigned anything, and they didn't send me any release forms to sign until August 15th of 2008. As stated in this January 23rd, 2009 letter from Safe Corporation, January 23rd, 2009, from Safe Corporation, reference to me, Dear Miss Owens, on August 7th, 2008, you requested the records regarding James W. Clark. Records were mailed to you on August 14th of 2008. This is a request to ask that you please return these records. We sent them in mail. Thank you for your advance, for your professional courtesy. Sincerely, Brad Kellogg, Claims Adjuster, Safe Corporation out of Salem, Oregon. Then, on January 30th of 2008, Dear Mr. Kemp, this letter is in response to your January 23rd, 2009 regarding the above captioned claimant. Enclosed, please find the records that were mailed to the State Insurance Fund or on or about August 14th of 2008. Please be advised that the State Insurance Fund has deleted these records from our computer system. Therefore, no records from Safe Corporation regarding Mr. Clark are on our system. Thank you for your attention to this matter. If you have any questions, please call our office. And again, it's from Ms. Jewel Owens, Senior Claims Examiner. So when she sent for these records from the Idaho Department of Correction, Holy Rosary Hospital, and Safe Corporation, she knew that she was breaking the law and violating my rights to privacy. She's a claims examiner. It's not like it was an accident, because each one of these letters that was sent are worded differently. In order, we are a workers' compensation carrier. In order to, blah, blah, blah. And then, I guess these two are almost the same. Yeah, I would say almost, but they're not. The State Insurance Fund, supposedly, the one for August 7th, the State Insurance Fund is the workers' compensation carrier for Crybaby Food, at which James Clark has filed an industrial claim. The State Insurance Fund is a member of the ISO claim search system. We have received information from ISO that you have also reported workers' compensation claim for James Clark on May 9th of 2005, February 13th of 2006, and August 16th of 2005. Enclosed is a signed and dated medical release authorization. Please forward copies of all past medical records in reference to the claim report to ISO. Submit this information to the State Insurance Fund at 1215 West State Street in Boise, Idaho. Thank you for your assistance on this matter. Now, and then, of course, this was mailed to where, Mr. Brad, my claims adjuster for Safe Corporation out of Salem, Oregon, wanted them returned. And also here, they state that they have been returned. Now, this is a letter that was dated and filed February 6th of 2008, the Industrial Commission, by the Idaho State Insurance Fund, which states, on page 2 of the Notice of Compliance with the Commission's February 6th of 2008 order on the motion to compel. And it states, regarding the Safe Corporation records requested by claimant, because I was requesting to have them send me all records from Safe Corporation. So, a letter dated January 12, 2009. Defendants understand that claimant has an extensive pre-accident medical record, including records in connection with a work-related arm injury for which claimant settled a workers' compensation claim with Oregon's surety Safe just prior to the accident that is the subject of this claim. If you claim that 7 months earlier would be, considered prior, yeah, it was the one before my accident. But anyway, of the subject of this claim, defendant also understand that the Oregon industrial injury involved the same right forearm or elbow. It was the elbow that is the subject of this claim of the crush injury of the April 17th of 2008 catastrophic work-related injury in Weiser, Idaho. Claim his current claim and may in fact aid his current medical providers in his current treatment regime. Defendants no longer have copies of Safe Corporation's records. Claimant apparently contacted Safe Corporation, and therefore Safe Corporation contacted the State Insurance Fund and requested the return of all copies of all records in connection with claimant's Oregon workers' compensation claim. Pursuant to Safe Corporation's request, the State Insurance Fund returned all copies of records, and all Safe records, scanned or otherwise stored in any capacity by or on behalf of the State Insurance Fund, have been destroyed. A copy of the State Insurance Fund's letter to Safe Corporation dated January 30th, 2009 is attached here too as Exhibit A. Defendants assert that the Commission's order on motion to compel clearly applies to the Safe Corporation records, as well as any other medical or psychological treatment records, and thus any objection to defendants' use of these records is now moot. So, then, due to the fact, the reason why they were sent back is because when I contacted Safe Corporation, I had asked them to fax me a copy of the medical release form that they had used to receive my private health records. And I explained to Safe Corporation that the document that they used, the release, the authorization for disclosure of health information that they used to receive my private health records from Idaho State Department of Correction, Safe Corporation, and Holy Rosary Hospital, they used this medical release form. I explained to Safe Corporation that it was not giving Safe Corporation permission. It was giving Dr. Hansen permission to send private health records to the Idaho State Insurance Fund. And I also informed Safe Corporation that it's not giving Safe Corporation permission to receive my private health records from Safe Corporation. So, clearly, by them receiving this, by using this medical release form that was given permission to another doctor to release my private health records, clearly committed fraud and deceit. Because under this rule, under the federal law, CFR 45, Part 164 of the Privacy Act, especially when because they did use this to receive my records from the Idaho Department of Correction. The Idaho Department of Correction notes had psychiatric records in them, which clearly those records are not, those are privileged information, which are not to be just given out under a regular standard release of information. So clearly the Idaho State Insurance Fund did commit fraud, because I did file an appeal on the Industrial Commission's findings of facts and conclusions of law in order. And on page 1 alone of the in the Supreme Court of the state of Idaho, opinion, Boise's June 2013 term, 2013 opinion number 86, filed August 14th of 2013. And it states down here on the bottom of it, first page. I'll read the first page to you. This appeal arises from a workers' compensation claim stemming from an accident at an onion processing plant on April 17th of 2008. James Clark was injured when his right forearm was caught in a roller machine, which resulted in a significant soft tissue damage. The Industrial Commission determined that Clark had suffered a compensable injury and that he was entitled to medical treatment through the date of his hearing and temporary disability benefits from the date of injury until he reached medical stability on April 17th of 2009, which my accident was April 17th of 2008. The Commission also found Clark had a permanent partial impairment, PPI, of 10% of a whole person, and permanent partial disability rated at 25% of a whole person. Clark appeals, arguing that the commission committed error by relying on fraudulent evidence. We affirm, even though I'm not comprehending that part, because they did affirm the Industrial Commission, the appeal from the Industrial Commission of the state of Idaho. The decision of the Industrial Commission is affirmed. And what they're speaking of, that is what they're meaning, is the findings of facts and conclusions of law in order of May 2nd of 2012, which is not held together by substantial evidence. Has the state of Idaho taken advantage of an injured worker in relation to a catastrophic work-related injury, and to help cover up the fraud and the abuse of authority by the Idaho State Industrial Commission? They also, Supreme Court docket number 40016, the Industrial Commission number 2008-13505. The Industrial Commission, State of Idaho. This court have announced its opinion in this case on August 14th of 2013, which has now become final. Therefore, it is hereby ordered that the Industrial Commission shall forthwith comply with the directive of the opinion if any action is required. It is further hereby ordered, inasmuch as no memorandum of cost was filed, respondents' costs on appeal are hereby waived pursuant to Idaho Appellant Rule 40C, dated this 18th day of September of 2013. Now, I did go, based upon this, to the Idaho State Industrial Commission on April 4th of 2014. And I will let you know what happened there in another video. But because Lynn Luker did come into the picture in January of 2010, as stated here, January, let's see here, if that's a February, I'll have to go back through these because I kind of mixed them up a little bit. But he did come into the picture in January of 2010. So I'll come to that here in a few. But clearly, should Lynn Luker be removed from his seat in office based upon his involvement in my workers' compensation? I think laws need to be changed clearly to help other injured workers in relation to how the Industrial Commission carries out their authority, because us injured workers give up our right to sue our companies for workers' compensation, because we can't sue our company for the damages and of the injury that we receive. And they're supposed to be the ultimate fact finders. And the only way that we can file an appeal is through the Supreme Court. Laws need to be changed. We need another avenue that we can file complaints against our companies other than having the Industrial Commission be the ultimate fact finders. Because where I'm at right now is I can't get the help because it's workers' compensation and it's civil. And because it's civil, I have to do this on my own. And that's why I can't get the help that I truly should be getting based upon the fraud that's been committed. I should still be under psychiatric care based upon my treating physicians that I was allowed to move over from Washington. I was allowed to move from Idaho to Washington to continue my counseling and psychological part of the PTSD. But then after I got over here to Vancouver, Washington, about 2 months later, they sent me a findings of facts and conclusions of law on May 2nd of 2012, which clearly is a bunch of lies. And because of me being way over here in another state, it's pretty hard for me to be able to go over there and to fight these people. So I've had to try to fight it through the mail and the alterations of my documents. I also have audios of Steve Kenyon of the law firm of Anderson, Julian Hall, but I can't get nobody to come forward. Why? What do they really have posted out there about me? Other than what's in this findings of facts and conclusions of law that I'm starting to wonder now. But I'm trying to bring attention how people are treated in the workers' compensation program in the state of Idaho. And I'm sure this is happening everywhere because we've given up our right to sue the company, and they're supposed to be the ultimate fact finders. If this is a fact-finding process, then I want the Idaho State Industrial Commission to produce their facts of their findings, which I'm not being allowed. And I will show you what I mean in a later video.